Hi everyone, I'm Ali Dawudi and it's my honor to say welcome to this comprehensive tutorial. We are here to remove the notation that writing an article is difficult. Please let me introduce myself. I held a master's degree in control engineering. I had the honor to have connections with distinguished professors and collaborate with some of them. I conducted a lot of research in a control laboratory and wrote 18 papers, including 2 Q1 papers, 2 Q2 papers, and 5 international conference papers. My H index is 7 and item index is 6. I was a research assistant as well as a teacher assistant in postgraduate courses for 3 years. In 2019, I won the nationwide annual award for Best Master Thesis in the field of space engineering, and I have become a member of Iran's National Alliance Foundation since 2020. Moreover, I have been a reviewer in several well-known journals. Okay, so I'm here to give you all the notes you need, and I want you to trust me and believe that you can write an article easily. Let's start with the organization of this tutorial. This tutorial includes 3 chapters, and each chapter has some subchapter. The first chapter is idea and start, and in which you are going to explain the reasons for writing a paper, the kinds of papers, make an initial idea, and recognize a proper journal or conference. In the second chapter, which is entitled Structure of a Paper and Notes, we are going to study the basic structure of a paper, definitions, and keynotes. The title of the last chapter is Submission and Review, in which steps and points of submission, the structure of a review, and points for writing a proper response letter are explained. Okay, first chapter, idea and start. First, remember this: writing a paper is not impossible, and don't make it a taboo for yourself. There are some reasons that make a researcher write a paper. One of the initial reasons could be defending your thesis. Another reason could be strengthening your CV or resume for applying to higher education. Some universities provide a wide range of motivations and prizes for students who want to write a paper. Among them, scholarships and discounts on dormitory prices are more common. As another reason, some researchers, for any reason, have been far from education. So, to fill this gap, they decide to write a paper to approve their abilities. Okay, generally there are 2 kinds of papers. The most reliable kind is a journal article due to the stricter review process. The other kind is conference papers. Both of them need a publisher to publish. The most well-known conference publisher is IEEE, whereas there are several publishers that publish journal articles, such as IEEE, Elsevier, Springer, Sage, Hindawi, and so on. Note: if you could attend an international conference and present a paper there, it would be a really positive score on your CV, especially in applying for higher education, because it sounds like you can travel without any problem and you can communicate with foreign people. Moreover, at that conference, you could make a strong connection with a professor for your next research. Okay, let's talk about making an initial idea. In the first step, you should based on the courses you attended, pick some topics you think are interesting. Then ask your supervisor for some advice about the topics you picked. Why your supervisor? Because the name of a sup- not because the name of a professor should be existing in the other list of any paper. This matter shows that your paper is approved by a professor. If a journal publishes your paper without the name of a professor, you should doubt that journal. In this step, you should pick at least 8 potential topics. As for the next step, you should search in recently published papers in reliable publishers and find out which of your suggested topics are active research field, or in other words, most of the papers are about which topic. In the third step, you should download at least 10 papers about the topic you picked in the second step. Read their abstract and conclusion carefully. Some universities prepare facilities for their students to download papers freely, but if you can't download those papers, you can read their abstracts freely. In the fourth step, which is the main step in writing a paper, you should find a weakness, simplification that could be removed, or a lack of something such as applying a new method or comparison between two methods in the papers you downloaded. Note, sometimes some papers at the end of the paper give you an idea for the next studies. In many cases, these suggested problems are really difficult to solve or the others have already solved them and now they are writing a paper about it. So it's better to find an idea by yourself. After finding the idea, go for the fifth step. In this step, you should inform your supervisor about the topic you picked and your idea for improving the studies have done and get final approval. In the sixth step, you should go for one paper of the papers that you create your idea based on them. This paper is your base paper, and in the second chapter, I will tell you some notes about choosing it. After choosing the base article, you should conduct the simulation done in the paper and achieve the same results. As for the seventh step, you should apply the created idea in the fifth step and conduct a new simulation. In the eighth step, you should apply the simplifications mentioned in the base paper and reach its results. We call it verification, and in many cases, you don't need to put it in your paper, except the reviewer wants you to put it. Now we want to know how to recognize a proper journal. Most of the reliable journals will be indexed in the Scopus website, and you can find these journals on the SJR website. On this website, you can use the categorizing option and see the ranking of journals in a specific subject. Plus, you can see the quartiles index. This index shows you a journal is in the what quarter among journals in the same subject. For instance, a Q1 journal is placed in the top 25% of journals. Moreover, if you click on a journal, you can find the history of the Q index, subject areas, and categories that you can publish in the journal, and a link to the homepage of the journal. The impact factor of a journal is a factor that means the average of times that articles of the journal have been cited. As a result, a journal with a higher impact factor is more reliable and also better for raising your H index. This index can be found on the homepage of the journal. About conferences, there are many publishers that organize conferences on different subjects worldwide annually or in a 2-year period. However, IEEE is the most reliable publisher for engineering subjects related to electrical and electronics engineering. On the IEEE Explorer website, in the Browse tab, you can find conferences and then choose the topic you are interested in and find conferences related to it. Okay, this was the end of chapter 1, and now let's check samples.